and welcome back to the channel. We are continuing the kitchen makeover series. In this space we have replaced the stove and we have painted the walls a nice fresh coat of Chantilly lace, my favorite color. We have removed the cabinets and we have removed the flooring. I am so excited to share this journey with you.
Did that plume of dust just come?
This space has needed to be renovated for some time, and I am so excited for you guys to be here with me in this journey. Hopefully you can take these bits and pieces and implement it into your space, or you can just sit back and relax and watch me take this space into a outdated kitchen into something of the kitchen of my dreams. So buckle up and let's get into this week's video. In this week's video, we are going to prime and paint the cabinets. But before we can do that, I need to finish clearing out the space. We've got to prep the floor and we got to remove all the lower cabinets and the countertops in order to get this space nice and cleared out for the new cabinets that are coming in.
Oh crap. We're gonna be late on this bill.
It's a bill.
I'm sorry, we're gonna be late on this bill.
Do we know this kid?
But it did have a stamp on it. Do we know this?
That kid?
No, I do not know that kid.
I don't think he belongs to us.
No.
Ooh, and a moldy cracker. Oh, what?
Oh, there's Hannah. This is from Hannah.
Hannah gave us
A receipt.
we don't even, that's not even our bank. Oh, there's more pictures. Aw. We don't know that kid either.
That's David. In 6th grade, 1991.
Okay. David. Honorary mention, David.
Here.
And this is who? Oh, we don't know her.
We don't know her. But we got some crackers.
Ugh.
So these base cabinets and countertops were proven to be rather difficult to remove. And once I started removing them, I clearly see why. These were not your standard cabinets, you know, ready-made cabinets and then installed. These were like built into place. So I don't know if this was the previous owner's DIY or if these were hired out. All I know is these were very well anchored into the wall and into the floor and into the space, and it was difficult to remove it. It was not your typical just unscrew and remove cabinets.
Ah. This is why you prep your walls.
Finally, the space is cleared out enough for me to shift my focus and move on to the next project, which is priming and painting the unfinished cabinets that we had purchased from Home Depot. And I'm trying something out new on this project. I am going to be using these freestanding clothes racks. I got them both from Walmart. I got a smaller size and a mid size. And here's my thought process. I am going to be spraying these cabinets, and I want to do it both sides at the same time, just to save me some time. So one I'm going to use to spray on, and then the other rack I'm going to use to hang them to dry. So remember those hooks that I got from Amazon in a couple of videos past, the S hook and that more industrial hook? I have thoughts of using these hooks with these racks, and actually this idea turned out really good.
So with any painting project, any furniture painting project I like to prime. Do you always have to prime? No. If you prep your surface well and it is not a bleeder and you have a dark enough color that when you put the paint on, you don't have to put hundreds and hundreds of coats on. I like to prime. I love the surface that it gives me when I do. I use several different primers for several different reasons and techniques. Look back through my channel. You can look at all the other furniture refinishing projects that I have done. But mainly, I'm going to get that light out of your guys' eyes. Okay. But mainly what I like to use is a primer that's going to give me great adhesion quality. That adhesion is going to allow the paint that I choose, that you will see, it will allow me to, it will give the adhesion quality that I need for that paint to stick on, and then you have longevity. It also helps with the having the true color come out. Have you ever put paint on a surface and it looks different on the chip versus when you put it up? Not only is it the lighting, but it can be what was on the surface to begin with. If it was a different hue underneath, it can bleed through or trickle through the paint because the pigment, whiter has less pigment, darker has more pigment, and then you can see that bleed through, or you can see that color shine through. I'm not going to go out and buy anything special for this project. I'm going to use what I have on hand. Blocking primers, so primers that help with predominantly with bleed through. What I predominantly use, or what I typically use, is Ben's primer. Obviously you can see this is very well loved. I bought the gallon because heck, I do furniture a lot, so I love Ben's. I also love Dixie Belle's Boss. They have it in clear. This happens to be clear, but they also have gray and they have white too. So they have a tinted primer. So you can, you know, get closer to your finish color without having to put tons and tons and tons of time and coats on. And with these two primers, it's smooth. So it doesn't add bulk to your project. And I don't know if you've ever painted something and it just seems so bulky or thick. I don't like that in a paint. I like my surfaces to look nice and smooth and not a lot of bulk to the finished piece. These two allow me to have it. I did pull this one out just to kind of chat a little bit about it. This one's not my favorite. And I don't know if I can really clearly tell you why, other than I find it very watery. I don't feel like it gives me the coverage of a primer like I think a primer should, or the adhesion properties or the finish smoothness of the properties. Have I used this? Yes, I have. But it's not one that I typically pick up. It's not bad, but it's one that I don't use. Good cleanup though. These two are kind of harder to clean up just because it has that shellac base to it. And that shellac base is that blocking mechanism that stops those tannins to bleed through. You can tell this cabinet is already white. I wanted to see what it looked like without a primer on it. So I was just playing around. This is that bridge that goes over the refrigerator. So this is our paint choice without a primer. And I'm still going to prime it just because to get it to the color that I want, I'm going to have to go through several layers. So I might as well throw a layer of primer on first and then put my paint on. But this is that Valspar furniture paint. See, it passes the scratch test without a primer. So it's a really good paint. So let's get priming.
So I'm tackling this project like I would any furniture piece. I am going to sand all the pieces with this 220 grit sandpaper. Then I'm going to clean off all the dust and the debris on these cabinet doors and drawers, and I'm just going to wipe them down with a microfiber cloth. Any cloth would do. Just make sure that it doesn't have any little bits and pieces of hair kind of stuck. Whatever's going to be left on your surface, it will get mixed into the paint. So you just want to make sure that it's nice and clean. Now guys, to save me time, I am using spray can primer. Yes, I have a sprayer. Yes, I can spray the primer. I find though with the bins primer, it gums up my paint gun. So I'm just choosing to do it this way. You guys can prime any way that you want. I am just kind of saving myself a little bit of headache of cleanup time. And that's it.
This is what the primed doors look like after I sprayed them. I have them hanging up here to dry. These are those Rockler hangers, and I have used the S hangers too. They both work great. I just want to say I don't have an opinion one versus another other than the cost. This is more expensive, but it's working beautifully. These are cheaper. They work great too. We are all primed. Now we have to prime the boxes or the carcasses.
On the cabinet shells, I am using a 4.5-inch foam roller and just a brush, and I'm just rolling it around, watching for any drips. I am doing the inner ledge of the face frame as well. So I'm just going to continue on doing all the shells or the carcasses of the cabinets, so everything is nice and primed.
All right, everyone, we are all primed, the boxes and the carcasses, or the aka carcasses. They are all primed, and now something that I normally don't do, I'm going to do just because I want the smoothest possible. Ignore my laundry. But I'm going to sand, and I'm just going to do a really light sanding, not anything aggressive or too much. I am just going to take one of these little sanding blocks. It says they're 220. I highly doubt it because it doesn't feel very aggressive, but I'm just going to take these little sanding sponges and knock down all the little fibers that swelled up while we painted, because the primer has water in it. It's a water-based primer, so it's going to kind of make the fibers in the wood swell, and that's okay. We're going to just knock them down, and then we're going to start on the first of probably mini coats because it's white. And usually, typically with white paint, it's about a three application process. So I'm going to get right into sanding. I'll show you a little bit. It's not all that exciting, but I just want you to know the process that I'm going through painting these cabinets in case you want to do it in your home. Then you know what I did and the things that you can cut out and the things that you probably should not cut out. Do you need a sand? No, you probably don't, but I'm just going to take that little extra precaution. So I'm going to show you what I do. Okay, priming is done, sanding is done, cleaning is done, and now we are going to do the first coat on the carcass. The doors are going to be sprayed, but on these shells, we are going to roll them, brush them, whatever I have in my hand at the moment. Shouldn't take that long, brushing or rolling, but I want to show you what the color. It is so thick and creamy. Let me show you. I have my trusty Klingon F50 brush, and ready for the big stir. It is just so thick and creamy and delicious. Look at that paint. So when we spray this, we're definitely going to have to thin it. I know it says do not, use water or anything like that. We'll have to figure out how to although it looks like it's got a pretty good ribbon. We are gonna definitely have to maybe thin it out a little bit just so my sprayer doesn't get clogged. We will read the instructions closer to that time, but the ribbon's not all that bad, so we may not have to thin it. See how it's making that ribbon in the paint? Nice, thick and creamy, and we are going to put the first coat. There's going to be a light behind me, I'm sorry. Remember, the first coat, it's always the ugly coat. There's There's no making it pretty. I've not come across the paint except for Fusion, that has a decent first coat application, but typically the first coat is always the ugly coat. Let's get that first coat on. I'm going to brush it. I have the brush out, so we'll just brush the first coat on. It won't take that much time.
What's that? I know.
It's called demo.
And what are we going to have to do?
Well, burgers. Alright everyone, that is it for today's video. We are tired. We will see you in the next video. Remember to subscribe, like the video, and stay amazing. We will see you in the next one. Bye.